series was made for fun purposes. Watch at your own risk.
Now, before we jump into this episode, I just want to say, don't worry, I saw all your comments about how much you want me to make a video about Frank, and trust me, it's coming. I've made this video before on my previous channel and decided to re-upload it onto this new channel. So once again, don't worry, I know Frank is like the #1 person you guys want me to talk about, and trust me, I will upload it. For now, just enjoy this video that I made about Terry, and just enjoy.
Terry Milkovich, also known as the worst father on the planet. Well, not the worst, but he's somewhere up there on the imaginary list.
Put some clothes on, you two look like a couple of fags.
Yes, Terry Milkovich is hated by many, and I could easily have made this video into a 10-second video that could have gone something like this. Terry Milkovich is hated by many because he's homophobic towards Mickey. In my previous video, I tend to have mentioned Terry a lot and how terrible of a parent he was, but I actually wanted to take my time to explain why he's a terrible human being as a whole. We get the fact that he's very homophobic. I mean, who isn't nowadays? But Terry has done much worse things anyone could imagine. With doing the unspeakable to Mandy,
The fuck you doing?
how he solves his problems, and how he raised his children.
Make me ask you twice. Sit, file.
Terry shouldn't be seen as a terrible father, but as a terrible human altogether. And today, I'll be showing you why Terry Milkovich is one of the most hated characters on Shameless. There are certain things in the world that are a big no-no. What's a no-no, you might ask? Well, as defined by Oxford Dictionary, it's a thing that is not possible or acceptable. Some no-nos could be as small as telling a baby to stop touching something, like an open outlet, or telling your children they're not allowed to dye their hair. But a huge no-no would be impregnating your daughter, or any child's, but in this case, your daughter. In Season 2, Episode 9, Hurricane Monica, Terry comes barging into the Gallagher's house and proceeds to beat up Ian, with Monica having to step in and break up the fight. Terry then says,
My Mandy's pregnant, and this little shit's gonna pay.
Now, that's when us viewers begin to think back to later episodes before Episode 9. In the previous episode, Season 2, Episode 8, Parenthood, Mickey was arrested for violating his probation after being caught having sex with Ian by Frank, meaning Ian wasn't having sex with Mandy because he already came out to her in Season 1, so we could easily debunk that Ian impregnated her. But if we continue going back into Season 2, I do recall in Episode 4, A Beautiful Mess, Debbie has a sleepover and invites no one other than Mandy Milkovich, and Mandy seems to have the hots for someone. And that someone is Lip Gallagher, Ian's older brother. Later on in the episode, Lip and Mandy proceeds to have sex, and Lip even asks Mandy,
I bet you could get any guy into bed, huh?
to which Mandy replies with,
Yeah? Why?
which then cuts to Mandy going over to Sheila's, to which us viewers could believe she also had sex with Jody. There you go, case closed, Lip impregnated Mandy, and Terry just mixed up who really got her pregnant. I mean, Ian and Mandy are dating, and Terry is just trying to protect his little girl. He's genuinely a great father. Yeah, no. You see, Shameless is that type of show that likes to trick their fans. I mean, like, really trick them. You know, like promoting Gallavich all season and then have at least 1 hour, 5 minutes, and 7 seconds of them on screen together. Oh, the pain. Anyway, in the beginning of Season 2, Episode 10, A Great Cause, during the recap, there's a short clip thrown in there that shows Lip and Mandy proceeding to have sex. Then it cuts to Ian getting beat up by Terry, and he then tells the Gallaghers that Mandy is pregnant and Ian is going to pay for it. The episode then continues with Lip going around town trying to find Mandy and talk to her, making us believe he's the father. Spoiler alert, he isn't. We find out at the end of the episode that Terry impregnated Mandy. Yeah, that's gross. Ian and Lip break into the Milkovich house, and soon enough they're caught by Terry, which breaks out into both Ian and Lip trying to escape. Lip finds his way out, but sadly that's not the case for Ian, for he gets cornered by Terry, who also points a gun at him. Luckily, Mandy runs in to protect Ian by pointing a shotgun at her father, proceeding to tell him to put the gun down. Lip comes back running in, telling them that Ian isn't the father, to which Mandy replies with,
He knows!
to which Terry says,
Fuck I do.
and continues to point the gun at Ian, implying that he believes Ian is the father, But then things take a turn as Mandy says,
I told you whose it is! Let him go, Dad. This is between us.
and that's when things get a little weird. With the expression from Terry's face, you could see how ashamed he is of himself, but that doesn't make up for what he did. Now, I understand what a mistake is, but that isn't what you call a mistake. It's what you call gross. And I'd just like to add this in. I recall season 2, episode 5, Father's Day. Debbie runs towards the Milkovich house and asks Mandy to
Help me look like you.
They proceed to talk about Debbie wanting to be seen as a woman and not a child, which she is, a child. Mandy asks Debbie how old she is, to which she replies
11.
Terry then walks by Mandy's room and sees Debbie in makeup and asks,
Who's your friend?
which is just disgusting. Terry looks at Debbie with a grin as if he's interested in her. Even Mandy looks at him disgusted. But going back to Terry impregnating Mandy, what makes the situation worse is how Terry handled everything as a whole, which leads into my next topic. Ian walks to work while calling Mandy, saying,
I need you to get your dad to back off.
then notices that the cash and grab has been broken into and destroyed inside. Later on, Ian talks to Lip while cleaning up the store, saying that Terry
He
had.
told Lindy he's gonna put my feet in that meat slicer. Work his way up.
Ian then runs to his house using certain precaution while making sure to lock each and every lock on the back door when he makes it inside. Ian then tells Monica that Terry had been looking for him at school, waiting to beat him up. We even see later on, while at work, Ian uses a gun to protect himself from Terry, if he were to enter the store, even pointing the gun at Lip, assuming it was Terry. Terry is practically using his power of being this tough guy and begins terrorizing Ian while trying to look for him, which makes him a terrible person. Now, before you call me a hypocrite for calling Terry terrible, and I didn't do the same for Mickey when he terrorized Ian, let me explain. Number one, Terry was actually the one that got Mandy pregnant. It wasn't as if Mickey had assaulted Mandy instead of Ian. And no, Ian didn't assault Mandy, but that's what she told her brothers. And last time I checked, the whole situation of Mandy being pregnant
This is
was...
between us.
meaning that Terry made the inference that Ian got her pregnant because Mandy and Ian are technically dating. Number two, don't you think it's kind of weird that Terry had agreed to beat up a child rapist around the neighborhood in season 3? Even though he had gotten his daughter pregnant back in season 2, who was a child at the time, and going back to when he saw Debbie with makeup, which was in season 2, when Debbie clearly looked 11 years old with makeup, and the first thing he did was ask Mandy.
Who's your friend?
Also, during season 2, episode 5, Father's Day, Terry is asked by Frank for an alibi to help him with the cops. Terry begins to offer his services, but charges Frank for the services instead of helping him out.
How much?
1,500.
80?
Say a negotiation, shithead.
Family discount.
You ain't fucking family.
Our kids are practically hitched.
Money up front, all of it. Now, fuck off.
When Mickey was attempting to beat up Ian, Mickey's intentions were out of love for Mandy. Mickey also beat up Lip after Lip disrespected Mandy, saying,
Well, maybe Mandy's confusing Ian with any one of the other 400 dudes in the 10th grade she's already blown.
and Mickey has also attempted to hurt the Gallagher's cousin, Patrick, to save the Gallaghers from losing their home. Mickey has always done things for his family, whether that be for the Milkoviches or the Gallaghers, even if that means terrorizing someone else. But Terry doesn't seem to do anything for his family, the Milkoviches, or anyone else, such as the Gallaghers, out of love like Mickey does. Terry's reputation as a whole is a terrible man that can't solve anything without violence. I mean, one time he did.
She didn't get shot. She got pushed out a window.
Did he tell you he did it?
In so many words.
13 federal court hearings, never testified against each other once.
Hold on. So you're saying that if he and I get married, then anything that happens between us is a secret?
You marry someone with a cock, I will bludgeon you dead in your sleep.
Yet, all good things come to an end. Speaking of Mickey and Terry having a normal conversation, that leads into my last and final topic. I'm pretty sure I'm not the first, nor would I be the last person to ever say that Terry Milkovich is one of the worst fathers. Now, I would mention how homophobic he is towards Mickey, but I felt as if Terry had so many other reasons to be hated for. So let's talk about those instead. Terry has always been violent and a part of gangs, but he never separated that from his family life. In season 10, episode 8, Ian and Mickey begin to question whether or not the other had killed Paula. their PO. But Mickey denies he had done so, as he was
Something like that.
which is soon checked out as he visits his father, who mentions that Mickey helped last night. Terry's influence on his children, nephews, and nieces has always been negative, as he involves them in criminal activities and gangs. According to the article Gangs and Children, some children and adolescents are motivated to join a gang because a family member also is in the gang. One of the worst effects of gang membership is the exposure to violence. Consequences of gang memberships may include exposure to drugs and alcohol, age-inappropriate sexual behavior, difficulty finding a job because of the lack of education and work skills, removal from one's family, imprisonment, and even death. Milkoviches tend to do plenty of drugs and drink almost every day. They also began getting involved in age-inappropriate sexual behaviors while being pretty young. Now, I'm not saying Mickey is dumb, but he is pretty uneducated. It is hinted multiple times throughout the series that Mickey doesn't know how to read.
I don't even think he can read.
You know what? If you actually knew how to read, maybe you'd understand. Not, look at these fucking squiggle things all over this piece of paper.
You could read.
Mickey has also had difficulties when it came to finding a job, which is mentioned in Season 2, Episode 2, Summer Loving, with Mickey saying,
Nah, man, I gotta get me a job. If I don't get one in 2 weeks, my probation skank's gonna do it for me, and I'm gonna end up losing a fucking limb at the meatpacking plant.
Maybe she'll find you something better.
She ain't gotta find fuck all. My dad even had to threaten this mookie nose from high school to get me a job tarring roofs.
Mickey has also mentioned during Season 10, Episode 12, Gallavich, that Terry had given the Milkovich kids up.
Who handed us over to family services for a year so he could run drugs for the Sinaloa cartel?
Your dad?
And there are multiple times Mickey has been in prison, with other Milkovich kids going to jail as well. As mentioned in Season 1, Episode 3, Aunt Ginger, that Mickey's brother, Iggy, was being released from jail.
I heard they're letting Iggy out of juvie.
Yeah, Mom drove up to go get him. Throwing a party for him or some shit this weekend.
Luckily, no one has died from the Milkovich family, but I wouldn't mind seeing one of them die. Terry's parenting and his involvement with gang and crime had led his children down a road where they believe they are
Fuck for life anyway, man.
I'd like to now add in a few honorable mentions I may have not mentioned throughout this video.
You were mouth and ass raped?
You kidding? I did the raping. Milkoviches don't bottom.
Was Mickey adopted?
Fuck off, Gallavich.
I think your dad might still be a little upset.
I'll get a little conversion therapy for you.
Hey! Excuse me! I just want everybody here to know I'm fucking gay. I'll fucking kill you! You son of a bitch! Balls of little pieces and shove up your ass so far, you grow balls tree, you fuck!
And on that note, I like to say that Terry should never have been given the title father, as he lacks the qualities that comes with it. Whoa, you made it to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching, and please hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed, and share the video if you liked it, or if you want other people who don't understand what Shameless is to watch, because, I don't know, maybe you're bored like I am. Anyway, I'd like to shout out a few other people here that I'm putting on the screen. Thank you so much for all the love on my previous video. I'm definitely new to all of this, so this is pretty fun to have like a mini, friend group. So thank you so much to everyone. I love all of you. Thank you so much for watching, and
Adios, motherfucker! Mickey!